Look, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. Krillin is the people's champ. A former low-tier hero with a solid group of lab monsters who love him, Krillin has been absolutely adored since day one of Dragon Ball FighterZ, despite also being one of the weakest characters in the game. Up until Season 3, that is. His Season 3 buffs alongside new mechanics like multiple assist options have made Krillin a terror in the current meta. Plenty of pros sing his praises, but the only way to truly explore Krillin is through the eyes of a dedicated, long-term main. And who better than the legend himself, JMCrofts. An FGC YouTuber who always brings the positivity and the fun, Crofts has been down with Krillin since launch, pulling out hype wins even when Krillin was at his worst. Today, he shares what he loves most about the disc-throwing, solar-flaring warrior by giving us the secret sauce. What is up, y'all? KRCPinto here. Today I'm hanging out with my favorite Krillin YouTuber, JMCrofts. Crofts, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm chilling. I've been having a lot of fun with Dragon Ball FighterZ lately.
Love it, dude. And Krillin, your guy, been playing him for a very long time. He's gotten some love recently. He's doing really well this season.
It's kind of crazy, right? Like I feel like I was a low tier hero for so long. Everyone was like, wow, it's crazy how you get wins with such a bad character. But now everyone's caught on. They're like, oh, Krillin's actually strong. I mean, I don't think he's like top 10 or anything, but I think he's upper half of the cast probably. He's pretty good. Not, since he's got one special move. This was the change. This is what did it. This is what took him over the edge.
That's the one. And we're going to get to talk about that plenty, man. I got some questions for you today about how you approach the character, what you like about him. And yeah, you ready to dive right into it?
Let's do it.
Okay. JMCrofts, first question's a low ball. What is your favorite move of Krillin's and why? It can be a normal, a special, whatever you like best.
So I think my favorite move is probably his 2H. I mean, it's just got such a big hitbox. No, it's hard for me to narrow it down to one. I think like almost all his special moves I really like. So Solar Flare, it's really fast, invincible to air attacks. You can make it plus if it hits meaty. His beam I think is really good. It's up there amongst the best beams in the game. And they actually buffed it a couple patches ago where it has this weird property where he like falls through the air when he does it, so you can be kind of unpredictable for where you're gonna fire it. So I like his beam a lot. I like his jump 2S. This might be my number one. I think gun to my head, I think I'm going with this one. This move is just so powerful. It has like a massive hitbox. He says as it misses, but like it really, you find all these awkward situations where like people are kind of jumping around or like up tech into double jump, which everyone does, and you just clap them with this and get a combo off it, so that's nice.
And you get saucy combos with that move too, not just combos. If you're in the corner, you get to do the sauce.
Yeah, you get some really fun like loops and stuff, so that's definitely a fun move. And I really like the rock as well. On point, the rock is maybe not so impressive because it is slow to come out, but they hit it with the most important of buffs, which was it beats Super Dash. Like this is just, it's so crazy. I mean, honestly, I think it's insane that it ever used to lose to Super Dash. Like it's kind of like, what were they thinking with that? But now that this just beats Super Dash clean, if you actually do it early enough, bro, he's navigating it. Maybe I got to do EX, throw 2 rocks. Oh no, he's getting through.
Cooler's too smart.
He is. He knows how to get through. But anyway, the fact that this beats Super Dash is so crazy. A big situation where this comes up, I think, is like if you knock them down and then you throw a rock. A lot of people would like Super Dash out of it before, but now they can't. It just beats them clean. So the rock is really, really nice. But yeah, I think if I had to pick just one, I think it's got to be this thing. I use this thing so much, like 100 times around.
Yeah, and I gotta say, all your favorite moves, I've had negative experiences with them in the past, which pretty much confirms that they are great moves. So I'm not surprised by any of these choices.
Yeah, it's always like the stuff that you hate your opponent using on you the most. That's the stuff that is actually powerful.
Yep, exactly. All right, man. Let's use the rock as a segue here. what do you think is Krillin's best assist right now? What do you think people should be running if he's not in the point position?
I actually think it's pretty close. I would give a slight edge to the Rock, a very slight edge. I think the Rock is like arguably the best assist in the game. I think that and like GT Goku A assist are probably my picks for top 2. And then Baby B is pretty interesting. I think we're gonna have to wait and see exactly how strong Baby B is, but it seems pretty strong so far. But for the most part, I think Rock is in contention for top assist in the game. It just does everything. It reaches in this like zone that is kind of hard to hit people in a lot of times. This sort of up back zone where people like to chill and wait for their assist to come back. It just seeks them out and destroys them. And it also like, it's so good the fact that he throws 2. It comes up more than you would think, where like you expect them to be full screen, but it turns out they're like actually coming at you. But the Rock is just like perfectly, oopsie, don't get a bean though. That's how you get got. The Rock is just like perfectly spaced there to like stop them when they try to get in. So it's pretty incredible for that. But the beam is really good as well. Obviously beam assists are just generally good. A lot of teams like beam assists. And I would say that beams help a lot more with damage. The Rock is not that great for adding damage. You can combo off it fairly well. Like, it's fine to combo off, but it's not that exciting. But like beams can do pretty good damage at the end of combos, so beams are a little better for that. But the Rock is just so nice. It's just so choice. I would say that I would look at your other assist and try to pick the assist that kind of fills in the weakness, right? So like, for example, on this team, if I'm running Kefla A, I already have an assist that covers that horizontal range. I don't really need a beam that bad, so having this Rock that can catch up back is pretty useful.
I love that if you're blocking, you get the bean, so you straight up have to trust the Rocks. Like, you have to put all your faith in them.
I would say that that's maybe the biggest weakness of the assist, is there's that split second where like you're up backing, but you have to let go of it to throw the Rocks. So it happens a lot actually, where I'm like jumping around and I throw the Rock, and it just so happens that that was the exact moment where they decided to super dash at me, and so I get hit. But or you know, when you're starting out, you'll definitely accidentally get the bean a lot, which can be annoying, but once you get used to it, it's not as much of a problem. But yeah, you do have to watch out, and you kind of have to practice to get a little bit frame perfect of like holding back, letting go of back, and then calling the Rock and then pressing back again so that you don't get a beam. It can be a little tricky, but it's just so powerful that it's worth the effort, I think.
All right, so 2 strong assists there. What do you think is Krillin's best team position right now? I know you've run a point in the past. On your current team, though, he's your anchor. Where do you think he fits best right now?
Yeah, I think he can go anywhere. And I would definitely say before they gave him good assists, if you guys are new to the game, you just don't know how bad the Rock was before. It was trash. I think it was by far the worst assist in the game. It didn't beat Super Dash. It only threw one dinky little Rock, and it did way, way less hit stun and block stun. It's so much easier to combo off of now. So back when the Rock was trash, I think he definitely had to be played point, just because like it's so worthless having basically an assist that you don't ever want to use on your team. It just feels like such a waste. So I think he had to be point before, but now I think he's pretty open-ended. I just feel like it's a waste to run him and not take advantage of the Rock. So I have kind of gotten to the point where I almost always put him anchor. There's a few reasons, right? Obviously, it's nice having 2 characters to be able to take advantage of the Rock or the beam if that's what you prefer. It's nice, you know, getting to use it for both characters if your first character dies. But also, I think he has some aspects to him that make him like interesting as a solo character, right? There are some things he can do that are kind of unique that other characters can't do when the other 2 team members are dead. So, for example, like he can do multiple meters, right? If you're sitting on like 7 meters, he can burn 5 of them. It's not the most damage. Like, for example, I've talked a lot about how like if you're gonna spend 2 meters for 2 level 1s, I think Roshi and UI literally do like almost double the damage for the amount of meter as Krillin does when using 2. So it's not the most efficient, but like doing 5, it comes up a lot where if you had any other character, you wouldn't be able to kill because you don't have any characters alive to Z change into, but Krillin can dump that meter for the 5 Destructo discs. It happens more than you would think, where that's just the last little bit of damage you need to get the kill. So it's legitimately pretty nice being able to choose how many discs you throw. But also things that make him good solo, like he has certain things where he can sort of create his own pressure. So I think that this Ki Blast is pretty interesting. It's almost like a pseudo assist, because he can like do it and he can go behind it and continue pressuring you, and he can even combo off it solo, which I think is kind of nuts. Like, that just is very strong to me. Obviously, Ki Blasts lose to Super Dash, but this thing is a lot safer than it looks. I mean, if they're trying to like react to you throwing this, he can block like really quickly. Look how fast he can block after that.
That was actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, like it recovers so fast. So if they're gonna try to Super Dash through it, they really need to have the read, which then obviously becomes dangerous because then you can bait the Super Dash. Or, you know, if they think you're gonna do it in the air, you can do a beam. So the recovery is quicker than it looks. So you can kind of use this as a solo pressure tool. Same with the rock. Something that I feel like I do a lot is if I get a knockdown in the corner, you can just throw a rock and then it covers you, you know, in case they try to get cheeky and like up tech into vanish or something, the rock will totally hit them. So he has some really nice ways of starting his own pressure, which is actually pretty rare. He doesn't really need an assist to convert these neutral situations into offensive situations, which is really nice. So I think generally I like him a lot as anchor. That's pretty much where I feel like I'm going to run him from now on, but you can run him middle if you really want. I think there's definitely nothing wrong about it. I just really like being able to take advantage of both those, or the assist for both of the characters. That is, I think is pretty good.
All right, man. So let's talk about Krillin in neutral. You know, this is where the round starts. You have to hypothetically close the gap, get in, get your pressure going. What are you doing with Krillin to win neutral? How do you play him?
Yeah, so I think Krillin actually does have good neutral. I think it's one of his biggest strengths. First of all, I spam his beam a lot. If you watch me play, I do like 100 of these per round because it really is strong. Like it covers a lot of screen space. You can really kind of keep them guessing with where you're going to do it because of this fact that it like falls now. There's kind of this weird thing where you can jump. I don't know if anyone ever really uses this, but it's interesting. He has that aspect to it that he can jump as well. So I just really love, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I really like projectile-based characters. It's kind of something that I'm like attracted to. I like to either be the one trying to close the gap and get in. So I like playing grapplers too, or I like being the one like staying far away and like zoning people out. I like the extremes, I guess. So I definitely like when I'm playing Krillin to just try to annoy them with the beam. But his Ki Blast is obviously good as well, like I mentioned. So that can help you in neutral, especially if you don't have assists. Something I think is underrated about Krillin, you know, I memed already about his 2H, but like Krillin low-key has good normals. I feel like people just assume he has bad normals because his 2H is bad and like his jab has like really bad range. But like the range on some, like they buffed this 5M a few patches ago. I don't know why they did that. This was already one of the best 5Ms in the game. It's 8 frames if you're close, which is kind of ridiculously fast. And it goes really far now. And like his 5H, this is like Nappa 5H now. This thing reaches insanely far. So I think he's got like good normals. He's got good projectiles. Sometimes you can even use like the rock, since you can combo off it like that. Like sometimes you can do annoying stuff with that. So I think Krillin's neutral is very strong. I just think you have to be a little bit careful not to get called out by Super Dash. I guess that's kind of it's a common constant in this game, is you always have to be a little cognizant of Super Dash. And like, yeah, his 2H sucks, but you can still, you know, it'll anti your Super Dash just as good as anyone else. So yeah,
that's all definitely that matters, right?
Yeah. Oh, and something I didn't think I mentioned for neutral. So his jumping medium is like pretty nuts. I think this move is really ridiculously good for a lot of reasons. Okay, so something you'll see I do at round start a lot is I'll just dash jump into medium, and obviously this is nice if they decide to jump too, right? You can get the hit, and Krillin can confirm off it. But even if they don't jump, you can still come down with this jab and hit them high, or you can mix them up with you can hit them with this if you're above them or whatever. Since he can cover this angle so well, he's pretty nice in the air. And this normal is just so good because even if they're like doing up back or something, you can see like you can take them down to the ground with his normal so well because his jump M has these 2 hits and like it just floats you perfectly to keep pressuring. So it's really, really nice. I fish for this move a lot. I throw it out a lot. And the other nice thing about this is that his launcher, his air launcher, I think is low-key really busted as well. One interesting thing about it is that you can side switch with it. This might not be something that people know. Let's see if I can actually do it. Oops, not like that.
You can side switch just like raw off a jump 2H?
Yeah, you just delay the super dash a lot. It might be easier on Goku. There we go.
Oh my gosh.
So some characters have to double jump to do that, which, obviously you get less damage if you waste your double jump. But Krillin, he doesn't care. He can just side switch whenever he wants. So that's really nice to get the corner, because then once you get the corner, you can start, pressuring with his various meaty tools. But anyway, the other reason why this move is really busted is just like, no matter what angle you hit them at, this move just always confirms. I don't know, like, this thing is just crazy. Like, no matter where you're at, like, even if they're like coming down, let me see if I can actually do this.
Oh.
See, like, look at that.
That's sick.
Like, even like no matter where you are, because this just arrests your momentum and scoots you up so it connects. A lot of characters cannot do that. Let's see if I can recreate the situation with Kefla and see if we can get it to work. Ooh, see, she falls a little bit. It did work with her. With some characters, this will be awkward. Like Videl is a character I play a lot, and it really sucks with her. Her jump 2H is really trash. But a lot of times, this is going to be... It's just going to be hard for a lot of characters to get these awkward confirmations into air launcher. Like you can see 18, her air launcher is so slow that like she lands before it can come out. But with Krillin, it just always works. Basically, anytime you land this move, this jump M, anytime you land it, it's like guaranteed you're going to be able to get that launcher. So that's really, really nice, obviously. And he can get sliding knockdown off of any hit as well. I don't know if that's something I've mentioned, but because he can do Ki Blast into medium after image, he can just guaranteed get sliding knockdown off of any hit. So that can help a lot too. But yeah, I think like when you want to go on the offensive, take advantage of some of his good normals. And then when you want to go on the defensive, take advantage of his good projectiles. He's got a lot of really good neutral tools.
Okay, I like it. So let's say you won neutral, your game plan works. Now you've got him blocking. What are you doing for pressure and mix up? How are you making people slip up, get hit when you're playing as Krillin?
Yeah, so I would say like Krillin's mix up, it's not like the craziest, but he definitely does have some stuff. So something you'll see me do a lot is I like Solar Flare plus assist. It's just nice because it's always a tight block string. You can lock them down so effectively, and you can start, thinking about going like for cross ups or going for empty jump low. Because his jump 5L hits so high, it's pretty easy to do empty jump low with him, so that can come up a lot too. So I definitely, because Solar Flare is so plus, it's not really plus, it's -2, but because the recovery is so fast, it's good to use it with assists like this, so I like doing that. In the corner, he can start to get kind of crazy. So he's got this move where he throws the Senzu Bean backwards. And this seems like not that interesting of a move. It just heals the assist character. But like for some reason, in combos, this move is kind of ridiculous. So you can do like a late air dash to hit them high. You can land and go low, obviously. So you can set up some pretty good 50-50s with this. It's just generally a kind of annoying pressure move to work with, to deal with. So definitely check that one out as well. I'll talk a little bit about his after image. His after image, I think, is a little overrated. I think a lot of people have seen like clips of people getting mixed by after image into low and being like, oh my god, that's so incredible. But like, it's to me, it's not really that good of a mix. To me, the big issue with it is like you should just always block low. The punishment if you get hit high, it's not so bad. It's like worst case, you just get a super, like whatever, it's fine. Whereas, you know, if you get hit low, you're gonna take like 40% or something. So the outcome for getting hit low is way worse. You can use the EX version to get conversions. It is highly scaled, but I think probably I use the move too little. I use this move outside of combos like almost never. I like never touch the move. But I see some Krillin players are just using it like every time they get a block string, they go for this. So I think that there's a right amount to use it. And it's more than 0, but it's maybe less than some people who I think overrate the move use it. I would say like the more you play and like the higher you get in rank, the more consistent people get at dealing with like the reactable mix-ups. So if you think about like this versus like this, like one overhead into low, or like this, or this, or this, right? Like these are technically all reactable. A lot of people still get hit because it's a hard reaction, especially online. These are all technically reactable, right? So once you get higher up in the ranks, people get better and better at reacting to these things. So if you're finding that you're against an opponent who is just like teching dragon rushes all day, he's like blocking all these shenanigans, then it might be time to start thinking about like, okay, how can I do something really dirty with after image? But before that point, I just feel like the reward is not there considering the risk it takes. Don't forget that if you're going for this move, like they can just 2H you clean. Oh my god, I didn't expect that to happen. Wait, what?
Can you counter 2H that?
Oh, there we go. I don't know why. I'm not sure if I was accidentally holding the button. There we go. So yeah, a lot of times if you're going for this move, you will just get 2H'd. See?
Can we explore 2H'ing the fake one real quick? Because what?
I think it's because I did medium. I think you can see like, oh wait, but he's doing a fake out.
Yeah, that's why I was saying
I think it must be a medium version thing.
Can you punish
That's so
that?
Interesting. Well, he should be able to cancel it, but yeah.
That's why they gave him a bad 2H.
That's so funny. I actually didn't know. But yeah, if I do the other version. So the problem with the medium one is it's not really like a mix-up, right? Because you end up too far away if you fake it. But yeah, that is interesting that beats 2H. I've never seen that before. But yeah, the other ones, the ones that you actually will use for this mix-up of like, am I going to fake it and go low, or am I going to hit high? These are all vulnerable to 2H, so you have to be careful. But I think it's not a useless move, but I think just be careful with it. It's flashy, definitely, which I think is maybe why people are so interested in trying to hit people with it. But I think there's a right amount to use it. Just don't get predictable.
Now I want to talk about Oki. Krillin has some great level 3 Oki. Right.
Oh yeah, you know what's funny is I don't do any of that. So I'm not gonna have much to talk about. But yeah, you're talking about like the forbidden mix.
Dude, yeah, you're blind.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I haven't learned like any of that stuff. But I really should. But yeah, it's not something that's been on my radar. But I definitely know it's something that people are talking about. Sorry, I can't help you much.
Hey, that's okay. What do you do for Oki? Let's say you're pressure worked, you get your hit, you knock them down. You've talked about doing Solar Flare meaty a few times. Yeah. Is that generally your go-to?
If I have assists up, I would say I do Solar Flare about 99% of the time. Just because it works so well, and like people get hit, like, and it covers all the tech options, right? It covers them on up back. But if you don't have assists up, sometimes I like to cover their techs with the rock. The rock can definitely be good for that. See, because if they press any buttons, they get hit. That's another kind of crazy thing about the rock, is it keeps going even if they hit you.
I was about to say, is that safe for you to just throw the rock like that?
It's super safe. Let me see if I can figure
But
out.
it's disjointed, so like if they smack you, the rock just like will stay out and do its thing.
Yeah, let me see. Oops. I need him to not up tech. Oh, it didn't work. Sometimes it does work. See if I can figure out a way to
just
set
the
it up.
bop on the head noise.
There, so you can see, like, even if they steal their turn, they'll still get hit, right? So it's really dangerous for them to do anything there. And it'll even be like wake up vanish and stuff, because the rock is like on there hitting them meaty. So throwing the rock, it's another way, like I talked about, he can kind of start offensive momentum even when he's alone, which is kind of rare. And the rock is kind of another way, because, you know, something I've talked about in this game before is it's pretty rare to have a projectile that you can move behind, right? Like if you think about Street Fighter, almost every projectile is like this in Street Fighter, where you can throw it and you can follow behind it. That's kind of the difference between a fireball and a beam, right? The fireball is like an independent entity moving on the screen separate from you, whereas a beam, you're trapped doing the beam the entire time. The most projectiles in this game kind of have that beam property. Like you can see, like even Ki Blast characters, right? They can't move while the Ki Blast is going. They're trapped until the Ki Blast is over. So you can't really use it the way that you would use like an assist to follow behind it. But Krillin actually has two exceptions, right? Because he's got the rock. He can utilize the rock like it's an assist, and the same with his Ki Blast. He can follow behind the Ki Blast and use it to start pressure. So that's actually pretty rare. Not very few characters in this game can even do that. Like base Vegeta is another one, right? Like base Vegeta jump 2S is a really known powerful move, and that's one of the reasons why, is because you can utilize it kind of as a miniature assist. So the rock is really, really good for that, I think. Yeah, that's about all I can think of. And I mean, like, chase their tech. Chasing techs with Krillin is pretty easy. And he's really good at it because he's able to make you block so well, right? Like if you you know, like if you're not sure which way they're gonna tech, right? Like it's so easy to jump up and throw this medium, and then even if they down tech, you can just fall and hit them with a light and still get them. This does lose to ground tech into 2H, so you do have to be careful about that. But yeah, like doing this versus if they up tech, hitting them, and since they made 5L into throw change, like it's a lot easier to mix people up that way now as well. And then also 2S can be really useful too, right? Like if you're kind of in this nebulous zone where it's kind of hard to get a clean confirm, that's something I notice a lot, right? Like is when a lot of times, like if people do up tech into double jump or something like that, it can be hard to get like a really clean confirm, just because it's awkward, right? Like with a lot of characters, it's awkward to fully confirm off that. But this move is so choice for getting confirms, jump 2S, just because like if it ever hits, you can get the super dash most of the time, or worst case, you can vanish or something like that. But yeah, Krillin, I don't think, like, other than the level 3 stuff, his Oki is not the greatest, but he is really, really good at being able to start his own pressure, which I think is a valuable tool for an anchor to have.
All right, let's talk about when the shoe's on the other foot. So, you know, Dragon Ball FighterZ, everyone wants to talk offense. Sometimes you gotta block. How's Krillin on defense? Does he have any good challenge buttons? I know we touched on his 6-frame jab earlier. Does he have any moves he can use to get him out of a pinch? How do you approach defense with him?
Yeah, so the 6-frame jab is obviously nice. But also, so one, I don't know how often this comes up, but one weird thing is that Solar Flare is air invincible. So sometimes you can find yourself in situations where they're just generally in the air, and you can use Solar Flare combined with Assist to really like control space and prevent them from coming at you because it works so well as an anti-air. Another thing is his 2M is like actually so nice. Like I talked about how good his 2M is. So if they're in situations like this where you're +0. Whoa, why did I beat him there? I don't even know. But anyway, the point that I was getting at was like you can really see how fast his 5M is, right? Like this thing is crazy. So clashing can be really good with Krillin, and I think for that reason, it's good to be good at blocking. Obviously, it's good to be good at blocking with every character, but with Krillin, you don't have to fear that much because he's so good in clashes. Because of that fast 6M, or that fast 5M.
I didn't even consider that would be good in a clash situation, but that makes total sense that would like honestly be ideal. Unless they're like 4LLing you, you're gonna win.
Right. I mean, like, not many characters can do like, okay, so it's giving 9 frames because I guess it's the range as we get pushed back, but like not many characters can do 669. Like, is there a way to see it on the dummy? I guess we can look at Kefla. Yeah, see 6610 on Kefla, 669 if you do 2M. So like, it's pretty fast. Oh, and 18 can't even do double LL, but yeah, like she has a 10 frame 5M versus 8 for Krillin. So like, this is just a fast move, and it's got the range. Like this move is crazy. So yeah, block well, use your normals well. That's generally my recommendation on defense. Block well and look for your spot. Okay. Because Krillin definitely has some stuff.
So I'm gonna rope this into defensive stuff, even though it is not technically defensive, but I just gotta talk about Senzu Bean a little bit. So you get to like optionally give people blue health back whenever you want.
Yeah.
How often are you using this, like, just kind of out of the blue? Like, are you looking for opportunities to Senzu Bean when you've got someone on the bench? Like, is this something I can imagine as an anchor? It's great to be able to blue life yourself if you've already used Spark.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. That's something I forgot to mention when I talked about, you know, things that are kind of unique to Krillin that he can do that make him a good anchor, right? Like this, and then using multiple meters. So, and yeah, you're totally right that recovering blue life is another one. He's like the only character where if you don't have Spark, you can still recover blue life for him without, you know, when he's the last character alive, without having to tag. So that is really nice. But as for like healing my other characters, I would say it's another thing where I think a lot of people do it too much. They go for it too much. Like personally, I see some people, like they'll like get a combo with their point, right? I need to turn off the restore defaults here. So they get a combo with their point character. And, you know, instead of like fully getting the Oki they would normally get, they like wait for the bean and make sure they get it. And I think oftentimes that's not worth it. Like, it's better to just make sure that you're going to get the hit and utilize the Oki to the fullest instead of just trying to get the blue life. Because the thing is, like, tagging is so powerful in this game. As someone who I played Marvel 3 a lot when it was new, and then I played Marvel 2 and got into it like in the last couple of years. Like, it's crazy how powerful tagging is in this game. I definitely think it was one of their design goals that they wanted you to just be constantly cycling through your characters, because like you can do stuff like, you know, tag into a launcher, right? Or you can do like end any combo with another character's super and not even worry about DHCing, right? And you can do guard cancel, which is obviously really powerful since they buffed it. Raw tag is like really insane. I think it's like the best move in the game is raw tag because it creates mix-ups. It's safe on block. It heals you. It kind of does everything. So tagging is really, really powerful. And I think for that reason, the bean is a little bit weak Like if this was Marvel, this move would actually be good. It's kind of ironic because Marvel 2 does have healing assists, but they're like notoriously the most useless assists. But if you could throw yourself a bean in Marvel, I think that would be pretty ridiculous. But in this game, I think it's a little weakened by the fact that if you have other characters alive, it's not too difficult to get them out. That's not to say it's useless. It definitely comes up, and especially like it happens a lot where like they get a big happy birthday and they're a little bit greedy, so they don't snap, and then you can just heal the character, and it's like all that work is undone. Or you know, if they hit your point character with a raw level 3 or something, and you get a lot of blue life, like it can definitely be worth it to find an opportunity to throw the bean. But there's something that we meme about on my stream. We say that there's the bean curse. Every time you eat the bean, you get hit like within like 30 frames afterward. That's just a law of nature. I don't know what it is. Something about the game. It's impossible to eat a Senzu bean and not immediately get hit afterwards. So definitely be careful. But yeah, it's a unique and interesting tool, but kind of similar to After Image. I think it's maybe a little overrated.
JMCrofts, if someone came to you tomorrow and said, Crofts, I'm on the fence about playing Krillin. I think he's kind of sweet. I kind of am interested in him, but I'm not sure. What are you saying to them to push them over the fence? Why should someone pick up Krillin in Season 3.5 of Dragon Ball FighterZ?
I would just say if you need an anchor, if you need someone who's going to hold it down and they're going to have this ridiculously busted assist that punishes people for super dashing, who doesn't want to stop people from super dashing, right? That's the dream. I mean, look at that. Even that situation there, it was crazy that I was able to confirm off of that. If you want to be able to abuse this broken assist and then have someone come in at the end who can hold his own, who can apply the pressure even with no assists, who can burn all the meters, make the comebacks. If you guys watch my channel, Krillin comebacks are a regular occurrence. You cannot lose as long as Krillin is still alive. So that would be my recommendation. If you want an amazing anchor, I think Krillin is maybe like top 5 anchors in the game, top 10. He's up there. He's a really, really good anchor. So yeah, definitely check him out if you're interested. And if you want someone with a well-rounded play style, you don't have to go too far in either direction. He can play offense and defense. He can really do it all. So that would be my recommendation.
I love it, dude. You rode this character from his lowest point to his highest point, and it's paying off. And you love to see it.
Is that stonks or what? Tell me.
Dude, for real. This is the
I invested early, and now it's all paying off.
Dragon Ball FighterZ. Oh, man. I love it. Dude, it's honestly, it's crazy. The come up for this character is absolutely insane.
Yeah, he went from like bottom 3 to like mid, upper mid. I think it's arguable that he's like, I don't know, top 20. He's pretty good.
All right, that's all I've got for you today. JMCrofts, you probably don't need to plug your stuff on my channel because you are much bigger than I am, man. But out of respect, where can people find you? You've got Twitter. I know you've got Twitch. Obviously, you have a YouTube. If people want to come see you, make some Krillin comebacks, where should they look?
At Crofts on Twitter. I mostly just tweet doing combos and stuff, fighting game related stuff. So follow me there. I know a lot of you guys are probably already subscribed to me on YouTube, but if you're not already, I'm trying to get to the next big milestone, 200,000. So if you could sub, I would appreciate it. But sub to KRC as well. Make sure you do that. Hit him with it. He's doing good work with these interviews, so make sure to hit him with that. Oh, and also I stream on Twitch every weekday, 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern time. So come through for that.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today. It means a lot. Yeah, Krillin, what a guy.
My pleasure. I'll see everybody later. Bye.
All right, appreciate you, brother.